In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite savory sabayons, and it's white miso and a Vin Jaune. I'm using this technique because for me it's the best technique to achieve a velvety and the right texture of the sabayon. We have a Bain Marie, so the pot is filled with the water about half of the quantity. And then I use a cloth to make sure we protect the direct steam going into the bowl to avoid having eggs to scramble. So we almost have a gentle steam where we are going to position our bowl after, which inside has yolk and eggs, and we just incorporate our ingredients. We have white miso, Vin Jaune, white soy, lemon juice, and beurre noisette. First step is to mix the miso with the Vin Jaune so we can actually emulsify the two together. So we are going to add a little bit at a time. When the miso is completely emulsified with the Vin Jaune, we are going to add the second part of the Vin Jaune and white soy. When the three ingredients are all mixed together, we are going to pour this inside our eggs. When the ingredients are together, we're going to start our process of whipping. So we can actually make our eggs lighter. There is a technique which I've been using all the time, and it's this 8 sign, what we call it. So we just move our whisk, giving a sign of 8. While we are whipping and emulsifying the eggs, we are going to reach a point of 72 degrees, which is the pasteurization of the eggs. Extremely important is also the temperature of the water, because we don't want the water to boil too quickly, otherwise we end up having eggs scrambling. Now that we reached our 72 degrees, and you can see the texture is quite velvety and smooth, almost like a creamy, we are going to incorporate gently our beurre noisette. While we incorporate our butter inside, it's very important to turn off the water so we don't have any more steam and heat going inside the sabayon. This sabayon is extremely delicious to be able to serve also without the beurre noisette. So when you get that temperature of 72 degrees, it will be very easy to serve into fish or piece of meat which is lightly poached. But I had a little bit of beurre noisette inside to be able to get that nuttiness and that consistency a little bit more velvety on the dish we are going to use for. It's also very important to be careful on the seasoning of this sabayon, because as I mentioned earlier, we're using the miso. So miso is quite coarse white paste, so I don't use any seasoning, additional seasoning, because that is enough for me to get that savory flavor on the sauce. We're now going to finish with lemon juice to slightly add into of acidity and to cut a little bit of the richness of the beurre noisette. To make our sabayon lighter and aerated, I'm going to use a siphon gun. So we're just going to fill the gun halfway through. It is extremely important that the sabayon is kept warm, so also because that's why I'm using a siphon gun, so we can keep in Bain Marie to make sure we have the right temperature and texture.